Switch gears here. I'd like to welcome our next guest. Theresa Stokes is here. She's the managing director of the Rhode Island Black Heritage Society. Hi, Sunny. How are you?
Hi.
Such a pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
And nice to meet you as well. How was your trip?
It was great.
It was good? Okay, I'm always checking in. So you made the drive from a bit away, so we wanted to make sure you're safe on the road. So
The roads are great.
It was fine? All right, good to hear. All right, so you're with the Rhode Island Black Heritage Society and a big event coming up this weekend. So before we get to that, tell us a little bit about the Black Heritage Society and a little bit about your mission.
Well, the Rhode Island Black Heritage Society started 40 years ago. This is our 40th anniversary. We're very excited about that. The mission is to preserve and protect the African American history of Rhode Island. We have large collections that we have, and we interpret and then disseminate that out to the public.
That's so neat. So tell us a little bit about some of your collection. What do you guys have?
We have a varied collection, everything from old artifacts like furniture and things like that, to a rich photographic collection, and a documents collection, which scholars use often when they're studying the history.
So what some of these pieces, because she was saying, I was like, can you bring anything? And you're like, some of the stuff was just too big to carry with me. What are some of the pieces that you have that really stand out?
Well, let's see. I have 2 6-foot African masks.
Oh, wow.
Which are a lot of fun.
Oh, I bet those are gorgeous.
They're fantastic. They're beautiful. We have smaller items as well. We have some furniture. I'm trying to think some of the more important things that would come to mind, and I'm going blank, of course. But things like George Downing's family portrait.
Oh, my
goodness.
Which
is really incredible to see it. They're all in Victorian clothing, and it's a beautiful, beautiful photograph. We've used it frequently. Other than photographs, furniture, we have a dressmaker's form.
Oh, wow.
Which comes from, I would say, the 1890s, 1900s, which is unusual. But when you look at it, it gives you an idea of how they would piece their clothing together. It's not that different from the dressmaker's form today, except that it shows the netting and how they would widen the skirts. And so you learn a lot from seeing all these pieces.
It surprises me that it wouldn't be too much different. I mean, almost 200 years ago, style has evolved.
But the human figure hasn't.
Yeah. So as you collect these pieces and you preserve these pieces, why do you think it's important to do so?
We're trying to protect a piece of history that without it, you're not telling American history. If you take the African American portion out of today's history, you don't have a true view of American history, particularly here in Rhode Island, because African Americans were here pretty much since day one from the settlement. And you have to tell their story as well, because they were intricately woven with everybody else.
And recently you have expanded really your mission and widening what you're including. How come the Heritage Society or the Heritage Foundation has chosen to do that?
It's common sense. You know, we are talking about African American history, but history is being made every day. And so if you look at the change in the demographics, people from the African diaspora who don't necessarily fall into the African American history. So it might be people from the Caribbean, people from the Dominican Republic, from Central and South America. A large group that's starting to grow even more here, but have that African heritage. And so we're trying to tell the whole story of the diaspora, not just the portion that came, over in, say, 1700s and then came up from there. We have new ones coming in all the time. Rhode Island African Alliance is here, and we have a large number of people directly from Africa, and they're now becoming the new history makers.
That's fantastic. So what has the feedback been like now that you're including a larger audience?
Well, you have to remember that some of these people have already been involved.
Yeah.
So it's not that it's new for us, it's just that I think that we're being a little bit more public and open about it. We're not, I don't want to say open because it was never hidden, but we're just saying it. Whereas before we always said African American history, we now say African heritage.
So you're putting the message out so that we can tell people, hey, this is what's happening. And
yes,
we've been doing it
absolutely.
all along.
We have been. And, the participation is wonderful. It's fantastic. But again, these are citizens of Rhode Island who have been here for some time, and we're already involved. So we're just saying they're here and we want you to know that they're here.
And how can people get involved and realize that you were out there?
In what sense? That if they didn't know that we were out there?
Maybe, well, because I've seen blogs on your website, so maybe they're interested in writing, or maybe they have a piece, maybe they have an artifact that they'd like to donate, or they want to take a look.
Please
or maybe they
call us, email us. That's exactly what we love, exactly what we want. We want people to be involved. We want people to come, to email us, to talk to us about their stories, let us know how they feel about their portion of the community being involved, and also for them just to come to the events and maybe tell us if they know of a speaker that's great, if they know of an artist that has something to show. We want to help promote that.
Fantastic. So you have this, you're celebrating 40 years, one of the oldest heritage societies in America. That's great. So let's talk about the event coming up this weekend and how important it is to celebrate.
Well, I always think it's important to celebrate. It's important to celebrate the history, but it's also important to celebrate the people that are around you and the people that are making a difference. And towards that end, our ball, we have 5 award recipients. We have the Black Lives Matter movement is receiving our History Makers Award, which is an award for those people who are making history today. 50 years from now, people are going to look back and they're going to know Black Lives Matter was here. So that's definitely one that was important. Another very personal one to me is we're giving an award to Al Kleiberg posthumously. We had already chosen him before his passing, which saddened us greatly. So we really want to celebrate his life and his contribution to not only the Rhode Island Black Heritage Society, but the Rhode Island Historical Society, and basically to historical preservation in general. He was wonderful. He was a giant here. So we want to make sure we do that. We're celebrating Jeffrey Osborne's contribution to the community through the arts, and we're celebrating, let's see, who am I missing? Black Lives Matter, Jeffrey Osborne, Kobe Dennis, which I guess everybody knows who Kobe Dennis is now. But so yeah, we're going to do that for our celebration. And again, it's also a celebration, so it's a party. We have a lot of music, entertainment. Elemental will be performing, as DJ. So we'll have a lot of dancing, so it'll be a lot of fun.
And do the award winners already know, or
They do.
Is it public?
Yes,
Okay,
it is.
so who's winning? Can you tell us?
Well, I just told those were the 5 award
Okay,
winners.
they're the 5 winners.
Those
Okay.
are the
I didn't know
5
if there
winners.
were additional ones
No.
to that. Okay, so I wasn't quite sure. And so the Rhode Island Black Heritage Society annual gala is tomorrow, March 11th. It's from 6 to 11:30 at the Omni Providence. And why do you encourage people to come?
To have a good time, to help us celebrate, to join us in the preservation of this history. I mean, that's something that's very important. We want people who are actively involved. One of the award winners that I forgot to mention is the 1696 Heritage Commission, which is being accepted by Secretary of State Nellie Gorbea. And that one's very important. Probably one of the most important things that's happened in the past couple of years is that they passed legislation putting African American history in the K through 12 curriculum.
Yeah.
And that's a big move for us. It validates everything that we've been saying for years, and we really thank Secretary of State Gorbea for, being the leader in that.
What do you think happens if you weren't around? If this heritage and this history wasn't preserved?
I'd feel bad for Americans. They wouldn't truly know their history. We're a diverse country, and particularly in Rhode Island, we're an extremely diverse state. And I think it's important that we know each other's stories. It's not important just for African American people to know African American history. It's important for everyone to know. It shows us as a people who we are, how we can achieve that creative survival, that regardless of what's happening, we can move forward. And if we don't know our history, we don't know we have that strength.
Precisely. It's part of how we became a society and how we became who we are.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for joining us. And if I can just have you scoot over just a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay. So I'd like to thank Theresa Stokes for being here. If you can just turn and look at the camera so we can all see your lovely face.
Okay.
From the Rhode Island Black Heritage Society, 40 for Freedom, the annual gala is tomorrow.
Yes.
So looking forward to that. So if you are interested, are tickets still available for everyone?
Still on sale. You can reach our website at riblackHeritage.org or through Eventbrite.
Perfect.
And we hope we'll see a lot of you there.
Fantastic. So if you want more information, you can check out their website. Again, it's tomorrow from 6 to 11:30 at the Omni Providence. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank
Sunny.
you.
I'm so glad that you were able to make it up here safely.